Right now, let's go out to the courthouse where we find criminal defense attorney Jenna Finkelstein. Hello, Jenna. So nice to have you here.
Hi, Seema. Nice to be here.
So, Jenna, you practice there. You know the deal around that county. Big focus in this case is the stand your ground law. Now, there was no stand your ground hearing. And a lot of us are a bit confused as to why. So Mr. Draga, he spoke to the police, he made a statement, and it was very clear from the beginning because he wasn't arrested right away. In fact, the incident happened on July 19th, 2018. The next day, the sheriff gave a big press conference and said, hey, we are not going to arrest him basically because of stand your ground. Then the sheriff doubled down, and then July 31st said the same thing. And it took 24 days from the date of the incident before Draga was charged with manslaughter. But the defense had the chance to do a stand your ground hearing, and they did not. Any thoughts as to why? We're really curious about this.
One of the things that I would think would play into this, he did Draga talked to law enforcement, he gave interviews from the jail, but, once discovery starts coming in after that and they're analyzing the video, getting all the witness statements, maybe they just decided it wasn't in his best interest, because in these kinds of cases, if you're presenting stand your ground, his mindset is what's important, right? So he most likely would have to testify to what he was thinking and going through and what his reaction was based off of at the time. So I think learning through the case, the other sides of the evidence and analyzing it, they just decided they'd take their shot with the jury.
Exactly. So they're taking their shot with the jury. Going from what we know now, they are going forward with a self-defense defense. So that is why it's completely confounding. Why wouldn't you try stand your ground hearing? And if you lose, you still go forward with the self-defense. What's the downside?
I agree, and I think most people would agree. Other than him making statements that they may be able to use, because there is some case law to back up the fact that, if a defendant makes a statement under oath, which a stand your ground hearing would be, that transcript of his testimony could possibly be used against him at the trial. And if he chose not to testify at the trial, that could pose a problem. I don't really know exactly what drove their decision not to, but I would agree with you, and I think a lot of people would agree with you that what do you have to lose? Give it a shot.
Yeah, we're all just really perplexed because, like you said, yeah, there is that danger of having that testimony at the stand your ground hearing. But similarly, he already spoke to police. So we already have that statement that's presumably going to come in. And another statement, how much would that really harm him? I think a lot of people are just wondering, why wouldn't he do that when, if he lost the stand your ground hearing, okay, so be it. You go forward. Now, we're at jury selection. Do you know this judge or any of the lawyers?
I do. Everybody.
Oh, give us some scoop, Jenna Finkelstein. We want some scoop. What do you think of the judge? What do you think of the judge?
Judge is great. I think he's very fair. He's a very fair judge. His rulings are fair. I think he strives to do the right thing and does. All judges make mistakes, but I think that he's consistently pretty fair with his rulings. He'll kind of tell you how he feels about certain things, so which is good from an attorney standpoint. You know what you're dealing with most of the time.
He seems very, what's the word? Very personable, very gregarious, has a sense of humor, trying to make the jurors comfortable. Yes,
absolutely. I would agree with that. He seems to be enjoying his job and makes everybody, it's not quite so regimented and strict, and he jokes around with them, and I think everybody feels comfortable in the courtroom.
Yeah, it's important to make jurors feel comfortable. Now, I've heard that the defense attorney, John Trevina, is kind of a big shot. Is that true?
He's practiced in this county for a long time. He definitely is well known.
And does he handle a lot of these type of cases?
As far as the charge or just the media cases, I feel like he's been involved in quite a few, what we would consider higher profile cases that are followed by the media.
And can you
I don't know specifically this type of, a manslaughter.
Sure. Can you tell us also about the other defense attorneys? There's Bryant Camerino, William Flores, and Teresa Jean-Pierre Coy.
Sure, yeah, I don't know much about Will Flores. I've seen him around. Bryant Camerino is a fantastic attorney, board-certified criminal trial attorney in the area, and he's also well-known. He's a smart attorney. He's good. And Teresa Jean-Pierre is a friend of mine. We went to law school together, and she's a great attorney. He's got a good team there.
All right, well, you have to tell your friend Teresa Jean-Pierre Coy that she has an open invitation to come and chat with us on Court TV whenever it's convenient for her at any time. So please convey that. And now the prosecutors.
I sure will.
Thank you. The prosecutors, Scott Rosenwasser and Frederick Schaub, I think I said that right. They both seem like they're excellent at their jobs and equal. They also seem to have like a yin and yang personality-wise.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But they are both, as you said, both great prosecutors. They've both been doing this for a long time. They're seasoned trial, litigators. This is what they love to do, and they're good at what they do. I've worked alongside both of them for many years, and I have a lot of respect for them.
That's great. It sounds like everybody, both the people of the state of Florida as well as Mr. Draka, everybody is in very competent hands. Now, final question, Jenna, is this 6-juror thing, is this a Florida thing? From what we understand, that it's always 6 jurors is it for misdemeanors and felonies, except for capital cases, then it's 12 jurors?
Correct.
Okay, excellent. Well, Jenna Finkelstein, I hope you can hang out for a little while longer. We hope to get back to you. Really, really appreciate your insight into the ongoings of Pinellas County criminal justice system. Thank you, Jenna Finkelstein. We're going to take another quick break before the jury selection continues. Court's just taking a break. It's not over for the night. Jury selection rolls on after this.
Tonight on Court TV.
It's day one of our live gavel-to-gavel coverage of Florida versus Michael Draka. Tonight, we're discussing what no lawyer likes to talk about during jury selection: race. We'll break down the demographics of this county's jury pool and explain why history shows us, even with a video of the shooting, a guilty verdict is far from a sure thing.
Closing Arguments with Vinnie Politan. Tonight, starting at 6/5 Central on the all-new Court TV.
Welcome back to our gavel-to-gavel coverage of Florida versus Draka. That is a live look inside the courtroom. That's right, court still going strong. Jury selection. The judge is now guiding the lawyers to go through all the prospective jurors and strike them for cause. Let's take you back inside the courtroom.
Right. So the issue is if there's a reasonable doubt or not. I mean, just because you say what you asked him at the end, it doesn't mean that there's not a reasonable doubt. When somebody says, hey, I'm partially biased, if you remember that, I think what he said was, I'm not totally partial or totally not impartial, but he said that he was partially biased, and he said he was pretty fixed. So to me, that's a reasonable doubt, so I'll grant 80. I mean, I understand what you asked at the end, but that doesn't cure the fact that he's still that there's still a reasonable doubt there. All right, so defense have anybody else in that particular row?
Yeah, 7, 8 also marked.
Yeah, he just said anti-gun. Well, he even said I'm not anti-gun.
He actually said he was not anti-gun. He hunted. He has a lot of family in the military. He watches the news a lot. He could be fair and impartial.
Yeah. First he said something about gun, and then he said, "Oh, that guy. Oh, okay."
First of all, he's talking about how this goes with consent amendment. But he said I didn't say anything about it.
Did you really want him on the jury?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I don't know, but I didn't see. He basically said he's an intelligent retired, and his wife's a retired professor. But he basically said, I can be fair, and he said it's a complex issue, which it probably is.
I think there was a doubt because he said from where he was before and then moving to Florida, he saw that there was such a big difference between the standing ground law. It was different from where he was before. This case was sent a message. But I think all of that is deeper than just looking at this case. There's more politics going into it. It's different from where he came from. I think it's
He was one of the most fair-minded person. I mean, he basically, first of all, this isn't a standard ground case. So he's talking about they don't have standard ground in Chicago, and he found it very interesting. But he clearly said that he can be fair, and he can.
Yeah.
And while this case isn't a standard ground case, the self-defense instruction does say stand your ground.
Well,
Even though it's not the standard ground.
every state has self-defense. Chicago has self-defense.
That's about the terminology of stand your ground. That's in the self-defense instruction, and he's already has an opinion about it. He's talking about it's different from where he came from.
That's not an opinion, he's just saying they don't have it.
Yeah, but he thought that it was unusual. It's not like that where he came from, how it is here. It's so complicated. I think there's a reason for that.
Yeah, I'll deny that one. I mean, just because he thinks it's complicated and interesting and all that doesn't mean that he's not able to be fair and impartial. So I'll deny 78. All right. Anything? Anybody else on that row? All right. Anybody on the very last row up to 90? All right. All right. We all agree on that. And anybody else?
I had 83 also, Mark. Every other potential juror, this is Cameron for the record. Every other veneer judge can say full no opinion. But this gentleman said his initial reaction is excessive force. Like any other juror, we all agree to keep.
All right. I'll grant that one. Okay. All right. I mean, that one was close, but I'll grant it. Okay. And anybody else for anybody on any row, or is that it? Yeah, I mean, the fact that she knows somebody who knows the victim's mom, but I don't think there's anything there to indicate that that she couldn't be fair and impartial. I mean, right.
She said that she had her in a class maybe in high school.
I just really realized after that she did say all that, so I would take that one more.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you can't sit on a jury.
Oh, but again, it's doubt. I didn't know that it was potential cause.
I wrote that she said she'd be okay, she'd be able to follow the law, and that she could be fair and impartial.
Yeah, I'll deny 85. I didn't even have a question mark. If I think it's close, I'll put a little question mark there, which I didn't do on 85. All right, so I think that's it. All right, so this is what I'll do, okay? I'll bring them in. I'll excuse the people that we just excused. I'll tell them to come back at 9. We'll give ourselves half an hour break. What do you think of that? Yes?
And I think on that position, she said, other than guns, she could be impartial. That was the comment she made. 85.
All right, well, I don't recall that at all. I mean, it doesn't mean it didn't happen, but
Follow up tomorrow. Yeah, we'll follow up tomorrow. Don't worry.
okay, that's true. That's true. Okay. So, yeah, this isn't the very end. So, and then I wouldn't even ask the court reporter to go look at it because you can just follow up tomorrow. Okay. So, I can have them come back at 8:30. Give them a little bit of a break and give us a break and say 8:45 or 9. What do you think? 9. Okay, 9. Just okay. If I give you guys a choice between 8:30, 8:45, or 9, I should have known it was going to be 9. So. Absolutely, we are.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's plan on this. I think we can select the jury out of these people, and then no matter what time we're done, we'll start with opening statements Wednesday. How's that?
That's fine.
Okay.
So no matter what time we're done?
Yeah, I mean, I anticipate we won't be done like within an hour or anything. I mean, it'll take a little while, right?
Yeah, I assume we're
Right, and then and then we'll be nice and fresh and everything. And if we
might just get it done Friday afternoon.
okay, fine with me. I mean,
So what do you think?
yeah, I mean,
3 Fridays?
This is on video.
especially if we can start early. Okay, I mean, if we can start 8:30 with the testimony and everything every day, I mean, you'd be shocked how much you can get in if you can start right away. Because most of the time we're dealing with motion calendars and all that. By the time you get started, it's 10:30 or 11. So.
Which brings up a point, Your Honor. We've asked the state to provide us a list of the actual witnesses they intend to call. We're not going to hold them to that.
We're working on that.
But we would like that just for judicial economy purposes, that we can help facilitate this to go quicker by knowing exactly who they're going to bring in.
Okay, and then I'll tell you what. If we get done early tomorrow, somewhat early, you can do the deposition of Mr. Buffington, right? Tomorrow afternoon.
Afternoon for depo? Yeah, later. We have to do some research on this fellow. Well, no, we'll sleep.
All right. Like I said before, I had him as an expert witness for the defense on a high-profile case over in Hillsborough County. It was a ex-Marine that shot a police officer. So I forget. Oh, Bonilla was his name. Bonilla. So anyway, but I haven't had him over here. I think he's more of a Tampa guy. All right. So why don't we bring these jurors in? I'll excuse these people. I'll tell them. I'll tell the rest of the people to come back at 9. Okay. And then if we want to talk about more stuff, we will. Or if we just want to go home and relax, we'll do that. Judge Federico volunteered to do my calendar tomorrow, so we're gonna. Yes. So.
Okay, the judge is about to call in the prospective jurors, tell those who made it and those who did not. Okay, we'll get you back inside the courtroom right after this break. Welcome back to Court TV Live. Jury selection is wrapping up. The judge is letting those who didn't make the cut leave for the evening, and the rest will come back tomorrow. Let's take you back inside the courtroom.
To everybody else, you will come back tomorrow, and then we'll finish with the jury selection process. The state will be asking you some questions, and then the defense will be asking you some questions. There's a lot fewer of you than there were, so hopefully it won't take all that long. And I'll ask you to be back at 9 o'clock. We'll give you a little bit of a break. Instead of starting at 8:30, it'll be 9 o'clock. Make sure that you give yourself enough time to find a parking space and get through the mag and all of that. And then where are we going to have them meet? Are we going to have them meet outside of courtroom 1, or are we going to have them meet in jury services, or what? I do too, because we have a whole nother group coming in tomorrow, so that'll just be a big confusing mess if they go down there. So we won't even have them check in down there. They'll just come right here. Okay, so as I said, give yourself plenty of time to be here by 9 o'clock. Be outside of courtroom 1 at 9 o'clock, all right? Make sure everybody's here. Now, the only other thing that I didn't mention, of course, I mentioned don't watch the news tonight. Don't watch local news. Don't even watch national news, all right? And then the only other thing that I forgot to tell you is if you get news alerts on your phone, figure out how to turn that off, okay? If you have any children, they know how to do it, okay? So I don't have that because it's kind of annoying. I mean, my wife has that, and she gets all these alerts, and we think it might be an emergency with our kids or something, and it's nothing, right? But I think you just go to settings and you turn it off if you have that, okay? So let's not get any information at all from any news outlets. As I said, if you want to watch sports, or if you care about the weather, you can watch the Weather Channel instead of Bay News 9 or whatever, because obviously they're not going to have anything about it, but they do tell you about the local weather on there. And obviously, do not go online and read any newspaper articles or anything. Do not read the Tampa Bay Times tomorrow. or anytime you're here involved in the case. If you want to put your newspaper aside and then I'll read it later, that's fine. So how many people are left that subscribe to the Tampa Bay Times? How many people are left? Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right, it's amazing, isn't it? All right. All right. Any questions or anything at this point? Okay, so we'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock right outside of courtroom 1. Have a great evening.
Folks, don't forget your belongings, please.
Okay, let's go straight out to, okay, so now you can see these are all the feet of the jurors leaving. Some have been dismissed for the trial, some haven't made the cut. Now the others, they'll be back tomorrow morning, and hopefully we'll get a full jury seated. I'm hoping so. Let's find out more about the ins and outs of jury selection in Pinellas County, Florida. Let's go out to the courthouse. Criminal defense attorney Jenna Finkelstein still with us. So, Jenna, they had approximately 100 prospective jurors come in tomorrow. They got 100 scheduled, today, scheduled tomorrow, another 100. Is this normal, or is it because this is such a high-profile case?
It's because it's a high-profile case. That's not normal. Even, if it was a murder case, first-degree murder, even a manslaughter, they would have more jurors than normal, just because, for your average trial, just because people have strong feelings about, that the facts that are going to be in play. But certainly the media presence and the fact that this case has been so high-profile, that's the reason that there's so many jurors being called each day.
Because of the stand your ground laws there in Florida, do you see a lot of self-defense cases there?
I don't think so. I mean, it seems like you would, and because it gets so much attention and we're talking so much about stand your ground, but you really, and maybe not in these more serious and complex cases. I think your, bar fight, battery type cases, you might get a self-defense argument just based on the facts, but it's not something that in a manslaughter, first degree, second degree murder that you see that often.
Okay, Jenna Finkelstein, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope that you will be a frequent guest during this trial, Florida versus Draco. We really appreciate it.